Hi there and welcome to the Bradbury Young channel. Now recently I made a top. Well, it's actually an amendment to a top that I'd been given, and I adjusted it and turned it from one style top to another and ended up with this top. Except this top is more like a dress because it's actually quite long and it's quite long on me, so it is almost pretty much a dress rather than a top now. And I made it by basically taking the sleeves off the top that was on there and reworking it to make this. Now in the process of making this, I managed to basically take a pattern and create a pattern from this to be able to make it again, I suppose. But when I made this, there were a few things that didn't seem quite right that I wanted to change and adjust, I suppose. But the problem being with this one is I had a limited amount of material. It was already a garment and I was just reworking it to make a new garment, which is what I did, and that's brilliant. I like this. This is nice. Could do with a little bit of more refinement to it, which is what I'm going to do now with this. What I've now got, I can now actually take the pattern that I've created from this and basically refine it so that I can have it how I want and not be limited by the original construction of the top that I originally had. So pattern pieces I've got now are this piece, which is the front. Yeah, this is the front, because like the original piece I put this little V in there, but have a look at my notes, because there are some changes I might change, some amendments I might make to this pattern and change the style slightly. I put a little V in here because the original top had a little V in it, and I'm not quite sure whether I want this in or not. If I take it out, I'm going to end up with slightly more of a square piece in the front, but there's the hole. And you see it is quite long, and this is taken from that top that's now a dress. So it's quite a long piece, and the shaping is on the side and fold on the centre front. So that's the front piece. The back is made of two pieces, which is that. Let's see, again, this is just straight across. That's the armhole, straight centre back, and the shaping is all on the side seam. So, and I put seam allowance on those now, so I've got that all sorted out. And then there's for the back, across the back of the shoulder, I've done it as a yoke, so that'll be that piece, and I don't think I really need to change that bit at all, so I'm happy with those. As long as I don't have to do any major changes with those, I think they're going to work as they are. The main piece that might have to change is this, which basically is the shoulder piece that's going to attach that yoke onto the front. And I'm not quite sure if I need to change like the shaping for the armhole. I definitely think there's a slight curvature on this that needs to change. It might be that I need to have more curvature here and bringing it down onto a straighter piece. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really decided. Do I want this piece longer and wider or shorter? Because on the other top that I made, when I put this piece onto here where it attaches onto the front, the front bit is wider, so you ruche in a bit. So in this case of, do I want that or don't I? So am I going to change the length of that piece? Where is it? Am I going to change the length of this piece so I don't have the ruching, or whether I change this piece or make this smaller? Don't know. These are all little things that I need to decide on. So I suppose first things first is to get some material. which I have actually already got. I've got some of this. This is just a bed sheet or something like that. It's grey, it's dull, it's perfect for doing mock-ups. So that's what I'm going to use. I'll give this an iron and then cut out my pieces from this. With this piece, instead of cutting it out like in the shape it is, again, as I did when I first created this piece, I'm just going to cut out a big rectangle and then reshape it based on this, but to how I might want it. I think that I do need to make some changes to make that shoulder piece just sit a bit better. So yeah, project own home made dress top, whatever I might call it, I don't know. Hopefully it'll come out nice, so I better get on with first of all ironing this and then getting the pieces cut out and seeing how they go together. I don't know, to me the main thing I've got here is not the front and back pieces. I think they'll be fine as they are. It's this yoke and the shoulder piece that's the main problem, and whether or not I have the V part at the front or whether I have it just straight across and then have the shoulder join on it, so I've got more of a square neck piece. Haven't really decided. There are some other considerations I've got to think about, and really that is I've got to consider the neckline, which I was just saying about. Now on the original one that I amended, I used some bias pieces that I cut from the original material, and don't know whether I'm going to do that or make some facing pieces for it. And then the same with the armholes, I used bias pieces, so I don't know whether I'm going to do that or whether I'm actually going to try and create a small sleeve. I don't want a big long one, just a small sleeve, almost like a cap sleeve, but I've never made sleeves, so I don't know how easy or hard that's going to be. So it's another consideration with the sleeves on there. So about time I got on with it and started on this process. I know I've already started on it with the pattern, but let's see if I can get it together and get it looking nice. Well, I've got all my pieces cut out now, so I just need to put them together. Now, it shouldn't be too difficult. There's only 6 pieces actually to this top dress, whatever it might be. So yeah, it should be fairly simple, I hope. Got the yoke piece, 2 shoulder pieces. Then we've got the 2 back pieces. Nice and long really, so here you go, and the front piece which is cut on the fold, that's the fold part. So yeah, 6 pieces, quite simple really. So now it's about putting them together. I suppose it's order of construction now. Which order am I going to construct this in? I mean, there's no instructions with this, I'm sort of winging it from my own experience really. So let's have a look. What am I having a think of? I'm going to do the centre back first of all. That's the 2 centre back pieces, put them together, and then I'm going to put the yoke on that, so I've got the whole of the back. And then I wasn't too sure whether I was going to put the shoulder pieces on the front or put the front on the back, so I've decided I'm going to do the side seams, so I've got the front piece and the back all together, and then do the shoulder pieces last. And before that I'll need to do some gathering stitches on the front, because that front piece is wider than the shoulder pieces, so I have to put some gathering stitches, gather that up, and then put the shoulder pieces in last. So that's my order construction, so better get on with it and see how it goes, because like I say, I've got no actual instructions for this. It is just a wing it and see. Well, it's nearly done. I've got the main body of construction. Hold on a minute, a bit of a jaunty angle here. There I am. So I'll just go over where I am with this. I've got it sewn up, back, the yoke put on, which I think has come out quite well. Backs together, sides on, fronts on, the shoulder bit. Now I've sewn it up along the shoulder, but I haven't sewn it up along here yet. And I'm still deciding whether or not I should put the little V in on this, or whether leave it like this. And then it's a case of, do I put a bias piece around the neck, or do I actually make a facing piece to go around this? Now the arms on here, this is a little wide, so this needs to be drawn in with some gathering stitches just to draw this in a bit so that it's not quite so wide on there. The sleeve, the armholes are fairly good. I quite like the way the whole arm piece is, and it seems to be okay. I mean, it does seem to gape a little bit, but I think once I've seamed that up it won't be quite so bad. And the idea that this is going to be fairly sort of loose, I don't want it to be overly tight, so there's going to be a certain amount of loose fit there. And then the only other question really is, this comes down quite far, it's quite long, it will be hemmed, but I've got this shaping to it. I can't decide whether this shaping is just a bit too much, whether I should take some of this shaping out so it's less like that and more just, if you know what I mean, it's not such a bell shaped piece at the bottom. So it's got quite a bit of length in it. I mean, it won't be quite so long once I've hemmed it up, probably that sort of length. But yeah, I just got to finish this bit and decide exactly how I'm going to put these two parts together, the shoulder to the front piece, and then of course just the finishing off parts. And I haven't really quite decided how I'm going to do that. I mean, this is really just a mock-up, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but it is helping me to understand how I'm going to get these parts together. So I better give that a go, get the gathering stitches in here, see how much I've got to gather it up by, and then stitch this on, and then determine what I'm doing. Really the main thing is with this neckband, the armholes won't be too bad, it's just a case of do a seam or some bias around there, that'll be fine. I think that'll work just fine. Yeah, this neckline, that's the problem part, I think. What am I doing with this neck? So I've finally got this thing together, this, I'm going to call it a dress, because really it is long enough to be a dress, and I've put all the bits together, and I've done the actual seam on the armholes and on the hem. Just go back a bit. So you can see the length of it, it's, you know, there's my knee. So it's a reasonable length, but the issue I have with it really is this shoulder piece. Everything else seems to work together, and yes, there is a bit of room under the arm, but I want it that way because obviously I've got to be able to get it on and off over my head, so I've had to make it have a certain amount of room, which is what I want. I want it to be sort of a loosish, sort of drapey sort of thing. Put a belt on it as well, just to get it in actually on the waist, a thin belt or something like that. I think what I need to do is to put this to one side and to have a think about this, because this piece here, that shoulder piece, just isn't quite right, and I'm not really sure how to make it right because I've only got a limited skill. I mean, for me this is a major accomplishment of taking one garment, and which is this one, the blue one, taking this garment, reworking it into this garment, which basically is into this type dress type garment, call it a long top or a dress, and then taking that and making a pattern and then trying to redo that pattern in such a way that actually works, rather than just having to sort of make it come together, because I had a limited amount of material from the garment I started with. But you know, that worked. That's a, you know, a finished garment. But I want to make a garment that's just mine, that's different, and I'm not quite there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put it to one side, I think. Have a think about it, have a think about this shoulder, do some reading, see if I can work out what it is that I need to do to correct this, to make this bit sit right, and so that I can get the correct neckline, and whether I need facing or biasing, I don't know as yet. It's a bit of a thought. I'm going to have to good think about it and decide what I'm going to do, and then I think I'll come back to this project and do another video with some proper material, hopefully with a shoulder that actually works. I think I might also take out a bit of this. It's almost like a bell shape down at the bottom here. It just goes out a little bit too much like that, so I might just slim it off a bit. And I think that's about it for now, really. I can't go any further with this until, yeah, a bit of research, a bit of thinking, and then back on with it at another time with some material, hopefully, to make it all nice and neat, rather than just this material which is basically just a sheet for a mock-up. So there we go, all done for now, I think. So anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to joining you in my next video. Bye. Yeah.